Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. Today, gamers get shafted, Intel's done it again, massive RX 7000 leak, and Ryzen 7000 CPUs along with desktop Ryzen 6000 APUs are releasing when? Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, while we've seen some good signs that the GPU shortage is finally beginning to ease, prices are still astronomical, and it's tough to find pretty much anything at MSRP. In the past, one of those places was Best Buy. For those who don't know, Best Buy became the exclusive retailer for Nvidia's Founders Edition cards a little while back, and it looks like the company has found a way to use that with their new Total Tech Rewards program. Their Total Tech program was announced last year, and you basically get some decent perks, like an increased return window to 60 days, 2-day shipping, and more. The issue is that it's a whopping $200 a year. Now, some may say it's worth it, but here's the issue. The company's most recent restock of RTX 30 GPUs was made exclusive to Total Tech members. Not only that, but scalpers were apparently able to buy more because they could purchase one of each GPU, which I really think is the worst part. As I've said before, I understand selling for what you can get. No one would take a lower price for something you sold on eBay, but letting scalpers buy a ton up just to resell is wrong. Really, this seems like a huge misstep from Best Buy. But first, is this not one of the coolest things you've ever seen? Seriously. This is the Mars Pro speaker, and it's made by this video's sponsor, Gravistar, a one-of-a-kind company that makes some of the most unique speakers and earbuds out there. From the incredible packaging to the zinc alloy, it actually just feels premium, like it has some serious heft to it. But of course, the big takeaway is the design. The Mars Pro is unlike anything else, and it's sure to be the first thing people notice when they walk in the room. From the color-changing RGB lights to the movable legs. I mean, it's got a turret for an arm. That's a buy in my book. Not only that, but it's functional. Whether it's the easy-to-use touch volume control or the intense bass of the speaker, Gravistar hit this out of the park. So what are you waiting for? Pick up the new Mars Pro by visiting the link in the description below. Next up, it looks like Intel's long-awaited desktop GPUs have in fact been postponed. If you remember at CES, I noticed that Intel only showed a laptop for Q1 for the date, while in a trailer not long before that, they showed Q1 with a laptop and desktop. Then video cards reported that Intel took Q1 off their website. Well, in a new video from Moore's Law is Dead, it looks like Q1 is out, at least for their high-end parts. One source claimed that ARC has effectively been pushed out to Q2, that there may be a paper launch in March, but high-end desktop won't come until June. Most sources mention high-end not coming until between April and June. According to his sources, one of the main reasons for the delay is software. And of course, graphics drivers are a huge undertaking, so it is understandable. Honestly, I'd rather Intel hold off a bit to ensure everything is right, instead of sticking to the schedule and launching with major bugs. Either way, I guess that explains why we didn't hear anything at CES. Oh well, I guess. It's still not too far off. Next up for today, we have a huge leak on AMD's RX 7000 GPUs. This one comes from a new video by Red Gaming Tech, and in it, he goes over the upcoming GPU's performance and specs. For one, according to his sources, AMD's next-gen GPUs are set to get a huge boost in ray tracing performance. In fact, he states that if you could get a similarly spec'd RDNA 3 GPU and compared it to RDNA 2, the new part would demolish it. His source called it, quote, NVIDIA Next, which he assumes means beyond Ampere. So AMD's RX 7000 should compete with NVIDIA's next-gen GPUs in terms of ray tracing, so something like 2 generations ahead of RDNA 2. Not only that, but RX 7000 gets a huge jump in cores. According to him, the top Navi 31 SKU does in fact come with a whopping 15,360 cores, which is a number we've seen before. Now, I'm not sure if he's just repeating it here, but I don't think so. Either way, that's 3 times the cores of the 6900 XT. Now, one thing he did get from his sources is that they're testing it at 2.5 GHz and above, which confirms a recent leak from Greymon55. And Red Gaming Tech actually said that he's heard as high as 2.8 GHz, which is unreal. Next, Navi 31 may get up to 512 megabytes of Infinity Cache, which is 4 times what the 6900 XT has. Now, he's heard it could come with 256 megabytes, but 2 of his sources point to 512, with one one at 256 and a third saying it depends on the SKU, so 512 megabytes should at least be an option. Regardless, all of this comes together in two performance options. The 7900 XT is either 3 times the FP32 compute and somewhere around 2.5 to 2.7 times faster in gaming, or it's in fact 3 times faster in gaming. Either way, it's a massive jump in performance. Next, he went over power draw, which is apparently 375 watts for the reference card, but it can get up to 450 watts for AIB partners. And finally, AMD's next gen looks to be extremely expensive. One of his sources actually told him that Navi 31 is actually designed for those who would want 3-card crossfire. Basically, while they're set to be a huge performance jump, they're also depressingly expensive. And lastly for today, it looks like AMD's Ryzen 7000 CPUs are set to launch much sooner than we thought. In a new tweet from known leaker Greymon55, he claims that the upcoming CPUs aren't coming in Q4. Now, that may sound like bad news, but he later makes it clear that we could in fact see them at this year's Computex. Of course, that's actually in Q2, which is even earlier than AMD's official second half timeframe. With that said, what will likely happen is that they announce them at Computex with a release in early Q3. Not only that, but he claims that AM5 motherboards will be ready with production samples this month. Either way, Ryzen 7000 isn't far off. To top it all off, he also claims that desktop Ryzen 6000 APUs with RDNA 2 are set to come in Q3 or Q4, meaning if you need a CPU with an internal GPU, you're set to get a big boost in performance this year. Really, it looks like 2022 is set to get a ton of releases. So while that does it for today, are you excited for AMD's upcoming Ryzen 7000 CPUs? Or are you more pumped for their GPUs? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day.